My daughter was born only 8 months after my wedding, and the moment my husband saw her, his face changed. He looked at her like she was a stranger. Then he looked at me and said the cruelest words I had ever heard in my life. "She's not mine." Those words broke something inside me. I had carried that baby with love, pain, and hope. I had waited for that moment with dreams of a happy family, but instead I received doubt, insult, and rejection. Before I could even understand what was happening, he divorced me. He left me in the hospital room with my newborn daughter, walking away without turning back. For one night, I cried quietly while watching my daughter sleep in my arms. She didn't know anything about the world she had come into. She didn't know that her father had refused her before holding her. I promised myself I would protect her, no matter what. But the pain kept growing, and I felt something else rising inside me, anger that demanded justice. 7 days later, I did the one thing he never expected. I went to the clinic and got a DNA test done. When the results came, my hands were shaking, but not because I was afraid. I already knew the truth. I had always known, and the report proved everything. The next morning, I walked into the police station with my daughter in my arms and the DNA papers in my hand. I filed a case against my ex-husband for defamation, emotional abuse, and abandoning his newborn based on a lie. I felt strong for the first time in months. I felt like a mother defending her child. But life is strange. The very next day, he showed up in court. His face looked pale, like someone who had seen his whole future collapse. He walked toward me slowly, almost shaking. He didn't even look at the judge first. He looked at me like a man begging for oxygen. He whispered, "Please forgive me. Please withdraw the case." Those words didn't feel like an apology. They felt like fear. He wasn't sorry for what he did. He was scared of what would happen to him now that the truth was out. I stood still, holding my daughter close. I could hear my heartbeat louder than his voice. For a moment, I remembered everything. The insults, the divorce papers, the loneliness, the hospital room, the tears. And then I remembered him walking away from us. I didn't answer him. I simply turned my face away. That silence hurt him more than any words could. But this was only the beginning. I wanted him to feel everything he made me feel. Not for revenge alone, but so he would never dare to treat another woman, another mother, with the cruelty he showed me. The case moved forward, and with every hearing he became more desperate. He called my phone again and again, leaving long messages telling me he was ashamed, that he had been stressed, that his friends had filled his mind with doubts, that he made a mistake. But every word felt like a weak excuse. When he divorced me, he didn't hesitate for even 1 second. So why should I hesitate now? My lawyer told me the court was taking my side. The DNA test was solid evidence. The judge had even scolded him for making such an accusation against a woman who had just given birth. I could see the fear in his eyes every time he sat on the other side of the courtroom. And for the first time, I didn't feel small. I didn't feel powerless. I felt like a woman who had survived fire and now walked through the ashes stronger than before. At home, my life began slowly rebuilding. My daughter became my motivation. Every time she smiled, I felt a new kind of strength. I worked extra hours, saved money, and started planning a future where she would never feel the absence of anyone. But in the quiet of the night, my mind always went back to him. Not because I missed him, but because I wanted him to understand what he had destroyed. He had taken my dignity, my trust, and my peace. Now he wanted forgiveness as if words could heal everything he broke. One afternoon, I saw him waiting near my apartment building. I almost turned back, but he saw me and rushed toward me. He looked different. His face was tired, his eyes red, his clothes unkempt. He said, "I lost my job because of the case. My family is ashamed of me. Please, I'm begging you, stop this." I looked at him and felt no sympathy. When I cried in the hospital, he didn't stop. When he told the world my daughter wasn't his, he didn't stop. When he walked away from us, he didn't stop. So why should I? I said nothing and walked past him, holding my daughter tightly. That moment, he realized he was talking to a woman he could no longer control. A week later, the investigation deepened. The court demanded his phone records, messages, and statements. His lies began breaking apart. The truth came out. He had been listening to some relatives who were poisoning his mind with jealousy and insecurity. He believed them more than his own wife. The judge looked at him and said, "You didn't just doubt your wife, you destroyed her honor." He lowered his head and cried, but I didn't feel satisfied. I felt calm. I felt like justice was slowly rising. When the court's final decision approached, I could feel the tension in the air. He tried again to approach me before the last hearing. This time he fell to his knees right outside the courthouse. People were watching, murmuring, whispering his shame. He kept repeating, "Please forgive me, I made a mistake." But I remembered the moment he accused me of cheating. He didn't ask if I was okay. He didn't ask how I felt during pregnancy. He didn't ask why the baby came early or whether there were medical complications. He only asked if she was his. He only cared about his image, not our family. The judge announced the verdict. He was found guilty of defamation, emotional harm, and destroying my reputation without evidence. He was ordered to pay compensation and publicly apologize. He looked at me with trembling lips as he read the apology in court. He confessed to the world that he had wrongfully accused me, divorced me without reason, and abandoned his newborn daughter due to insecurity and ignorance. His voice cracked, and tears fell, but I stood straight. Not because I was cold, but because I had already cried enough. After the hearing, he approached me one last time. He didn't beg this time. He didn't plead. He simply said, "I know you won't forgive me. I know I lost everything." I looked at him calmly and answered, "You didn't lose everything. You threw it away." That was the last time I ever saw him. I walked out of the courthouse with my daughter in my arms. The sun felt warmer than usual, the air lighter. It felt like the world was giving me a new beginning. I knew the road ahead wouldn't be easy, but I was not the same woman who cried silently in the hospital bed. I was stronger, I was braver, and I was free. My daughter slept peacefully against my chest, unaware of everything. But one day, she would know. She would know her mother fought for her, protected her, and never allowed anyone to question her existence. My story didn't end with revenge. It ended with strength, and it began with a promise. I will raise my daughter with so much love that she will never feel the absence of someone who never deserved her in the first place.